11Alive News starts now.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Great to be with you on this Friday, January 2nd. Happy New Year to everybody out there, and welcome to the new 11Alive Streaming Center. We are going to be with you here every day in the 10 o'clock hour, bringing you the news of the day with a different twist, a little more context and perspective, and breaking news all morning as it happens. And this is how we're able to bring this to you. That is our producer Reams Landreth over here. I'll be positioned over here. We have the chance to bring guests into our studio and talk to them, some newsmakers, about the news of the day as it is happening in your community. So we are excited to be here today. And some big news happening in your community today is a pretty bad crash on I-75 just off the interstate on one of the exits. This is over in Ackworth, and we have some video as we're getting some brand new information on this crash. It's an overturned semi. You see it here from an exclusive angle you'll see only here on 11Alive from our drone. That overturned truck happened at about the 6 o'clock hour and is still very much an ongoing situation. In fact, this is a look at how things are unfolding right now to the left of your screen. According to our photojournalist who is still on scene providing those images off to the right of your screen, he just watched as the medical examiner removed a body from this crash. So it appears that this is going to be a fatal crash, so we are still waiting on official confirmation on that from authorities. We're keeping an eye on things here. Our Doug Turnbull all morning long has been telling you to find an alternate route on I-75 over by the Wade Green exit. That's exit 273 where this has happened, though perhaps it will be clearing soon. They just have to get that upright and out of there. All right, that's a big story we'll be following this morning. We'll let you know when that clears, but we also want to talk about the weather as we are heading into the weekend. Yeah, it is Friday morning, and what a cloudy, gray Friday it is. Rain is moving in. Let's get more from our meteorologist now, Nicole Hartford.
Cloud cover has moved in across North Georgia. Those clouds are pushing in ahead of an incoming cold front that will also bring rain back to our area by the end of the day today. Right now, most of that rain stretches through Arkansas and into Mississippi. It's just starting to enter into Alabama, so it's still got a little ways to go until it arrives here, but we'll bring those scattered showers back in by later this afternoon as that cold front pushes through. The actual cold front moves in North Georgia by early tomorrow morning, and as it does, it will bring in more widespread rainfall and then eventually lead to drier conditions. It will be a good area of rain. In fact, rain totals could get up to about a ½ inch to an inch across many locations in North Georgia. Looks like a pocket of the most widespread, heaviest rainfall will be kind of along the I-20 corridor where some of the stronger showers and storms will develop. This does not come with a risk for severe weather for us. There's a low threat down towards the south for tomorrow as this cold front swings through central and south Georgia with that level 1 threat. But we're not anticipating any severe weather here. In fact, while we could see a few isolated storms, I think the extent of it will be some heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty winds, as well as some rumbles of thunder. So don't be surprised if they wake you up late tonight. Most of the daytime hours today, dry. This is your forecast track. Shows cloud cover. That's going to be pretty hard to shake throughout the day. We will see a few breaks in the clouds, perhaps some sun peeking through here and there, but Sunshine's going to be pretty hard to come by. Instead, we'll stay mostly cloudy with a couple spotty showers possible into the afternoon. By later today, especially as we get closer to the sunset, we'll watch as these showers and storms push in from the west. So activity will really start to increase post sunset through about midnight with not just widespread rain, but areas of heavier rain as well. Notice the oranges and reds showing up on our forecast track. Also notice that where some of these stronger showers, where the heaviest rain develops, it's where our higher rainfall totals are also anticipated. So right along that I-20 corridor, as I mentioned. This will continue just kind of on and off through the overnight tonight. So if you'll be out late this evening or anytime really between sunset tonight and sunrise tomorrow, it's probably a good idea to have an umbrella close by. Roads are also going to be slick, so just keep that in mind. Much of the rain will start to sink southward by about 7 a.m. We'll still have areas of rainfall as the cold front finally works its way through. But the main area of rain is out of here by about 9 or 10 o'clock. Behind it, a couple isolated showers could redevelop into the afternoon. That's when we'll open the door for those stronger storms down into central Georgia. But anything the second half of the day, Saturday for us, is going to be really hit and miss. We're talking areas of light rainfall up into far north Georgia, and most of us will stay dry for the second half of the day on Saturday as that drier air works in. As far as temperatures are concerned behind this front, not going to be a big impact. Highs today are still going to get up into the upper 50s and low 60s, even with the addition of the cloud cover. Although temperatures will be really similar to where we were yesterday, with a high right around 62 in Atlanta, it's going to feel a little cooler just because of the cloud cover. Highs by tomorrow stay in the 50s. That'll be the case for Sunday as well. We bring back the sunshine to end out the weekend, and temperatures will gradually warm into next week. We're pushing 70 degrees by Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, Nicole, thanks. Hey, another big story we're following this morning. An Uber driver murdered while on the job. This happened in Lawrenceville on New Year's Day, just hours after we were all ringing in the new year. And we can tell you the Uber driver, a 58-year-old man, and the suspect in this case, a kid not even old enough to drive. He's 15 years old, and this morning he is charged with murder. We do expect, within the last couple minutes, we just learned that we expect to learn more information in just about an hour from Lawrenceville Police. They're going to be issuing a statement around 11 o'clock this morning. In the meantime, here's some exclusive photos from the scene yesterday as authorities were taking that 15-year-old suspect into custody. This in Lilburn is where that arrest went down, about 10 miles away from where that Uber driver was found shot to death in the middle of a street in Lawrenceville. On Groveland Parkway is where that Uber driver was found shot and killed. In fact, according to police, Ring doorbell video showed a black SUV stopping, dropping off the victim, and then leaving the area. Investigators determined that car actually belonged to the victim. They were able to track that car down to this Lilburn address, and that's where this arrest went down that you're looking at right now. We reached out to Uber, and they told us in a statement that they are saddened by this devastating loss. They say their condolences go out to the driver's family, and they say they've been in contact with the Lawrenceville Police Department to help support in their investigation. Now, if you're listening to this and you're saying, I feel like I've heard this story before, it's because you have. A year ago, last January in Atlanta, a 59-year-old Uber driver was shot and killed and left dead in the woods. He was a beloved local basketball coach. He was driving Uber on the side, and the man who was charged in his murder was the last person who requested a ride from this man. So that was last year. And then just think back to last week. You remember those 3 inmates who'd escaped from the DeKalb County Jail? Well, according to investigators, they took a lift all the way to Miami, from DeKalb County, Georgia, to Miami, Florida, a 10-hour drive, and investigators say that they held that Lyft driver against her will and threatened to kill her. So they're now facing federal carjacking and kidnapping charges. Bringing in Reams Landreth now, our producer. And Reams, we've all taken these ride shares before. It gets you thinking, just how safe are these? Uber and Lyft claim that over 99.9% of their trips are completed without serious safety incidents. So we want to keep this all in perspective.
My concern is there's still 0.1% there, and that's they have a lot of rides. So that 0.1% is an issue. We know that Uber has been developing a number of safety features over the past few years to help these drivers. I mean, in a situation like we saw in DeKalb County a few weeks ago, I believe that it was the driver using an emergency button to help track. We're still some questions around how they were able to track this Uber driver,
Right.
Or Lyft driver as they made their journey towards Miami. But we know Uber giving us some background on this, that there is an emergency button that their drivers can use to call or text 911 and help them with real-time location, to help them if they're in an emergency, help get people out there. We also know that drivers can record some audio and video of their rides. I know that Lyft, you can share your here's my ride to other people so they can keep track of you as you're making your journey places if you want to. We know every trip is tracked now. GPS is everywhere. It's very easy to track. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of different safety things being put in place to make sure that every ride is safe.
Right.
Hopefully that 0.1% can get lifted some more soon, though.
I took an Uber a couple nights ago, and I got in the back seat, and I sat behind the driver, and he asked me to move to the other side,
So you
which
can
makes
see it.
sense.
Yeah.
So he can keep an eye on you.
It's kind of scary if you're thinking about a driver. Like, you can't really see what's going on behind you. You don't.
Right.
You've got. I don't have kids. You have kids. You got the little mirrors that you can keep
Got
track
the
of the
mirrors.
kids in the back seat and
Yeah.
hit them if you need to.
Look, here's the thing. There is not a lot of federal data on this. The
No.
Government Accountability Office, in fact, published this study that shows there's very few data sets out there that looks into the dangers of ride shares, though it does examine in this report a couple years, 2019 and 2020, in which Uber and Lyft reported a combined 24 fatalities related to physical assaults on their platforms. So there is some limited information out there, but as Reams was just telling us, both of these rideshare companies also implementing some safety measures as well. Okay. All right, big story. We'll continue to follow there. And again, we expect to learn more in just about 50 minutes from Lawrenceville Police. When it comes to the suspect, we don't yet have his name, and we may not get his name because he is underage, though he is being charged as an adult. But perhaps today we will learn a little more about that 58-year-old victim and his name. We're back with plenty more coming up right after this. You're watching 11Alive Plus. Sorry, dogs. It was a late night for a lot of you staying up watching Georgia and Ole Miss. It was a college football classic, no doubt about that. But Georgia on the losing end of things. Let's get a little more from our crew down in New Orleans from the Sugar Bowl.
Deja vu here in New Orleans for the Georgia Bulldogs in more ways than one. Unfortunately, on the losing side of things for a second consecutive season. And much like the first time they played Ole Miss back in October, it was a back and forth affair, a crazy game, one that came down to the fourth quarter, except this one truly came down to the final minute. With 56 seconds left to play, the Georgia Bulldogs tied this game. Unfortunately, that was a little bit too much time on the clock for Trinidad Chambliss. They drove down the field, they scored, they win, sending Georgia packing for a second straight year. That deja vu feeling was really disappointing for those players in the locker room.
It's just life right there, you know. It's not everything's going to go your way. Sometimes you're just going to have to take this one on the chin, you know. It's a great team. They got great players over there. They recruit hard too. And you just got to realize that we played as the best that we can, and they just got one more moment on us.
Just losing. Anytime you lose, it's going to motivate you for sure. So hopefully in the offseason we go out there and attack it like we did this year. And we just gotta keep getting better and just keep finding little ways to improve and learn how to finish, and we're gonna be good.
So despite the loss, a lot of the Georgia players in that locker room, they mentioned that they love being a part of competitive atmospheres and games like this. And they admitted the Ole Miss Rebels had just a few more plays than they did, and they wished they could have a few more to win this game. That feeling going to stick with them into next year, but a very promising future for these Georgia Bulldogs. And once again, another hard-fought performance by their quarterback, Gunnar Stockton. Here in New Orleans, covering the Bulldogs, Maria Martin, 11Alive Sports.
I mean, Stockton played great. Then you had Ole Miss playing great. Just two explosive offenses, trading big plays all game. It was a great one. Hope you enjoyed it if you were up watching, despite the result. But now, we're going to see what happens as Ole Miss goes on. They'll be facing Miami next. You know, there were some big moments in the games last night that have a lot of people talking. Georgia safety Ja'Cory Thomas ejected for a controversial targeting call. Also a questionable no call on a big hit to Stockton. So folks talking about that this morning. Folks also talking about Lane Kiffin. Because why not?
We can't get his name out of our mouth, can we? Unfortunately,
he's the perfect college football villain. What's going on with Lane?
Yeah, so Lane, not at Ole Miss anymore.
Right.
Lane's at LSU now, but he's still getting paid.
How does that work?
So as a part of the postseason, head coaches make a certain amount of bonuses for every game you make into the postseason. LSU decided to pick up, as a part of their deal, his bonuses to Ole Miss. So he's looking at $500,000 so far. $250,000 for winning against Tulane. Now another $250,000 for winning against Georgia.
Wow.
He can make another $250,000 in the semifinals, and if he wins, we're talking millions.
Yeah.
For a different team doing well in your conference.
I mean, good work if you can get it, right?
I guess, are LSU fans Ole Miss fans now? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just such a bizarre world out there. You mentioned Ole Miss. They have another game.
Yep.
They're facing off against Miami next week. That's going to be huge. That game coming up, I believe, that's on Thursday. That's the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale, Arizona. And then, Reams, we got a game here in Atlanta.
We do.
Yeah, that is coming up next Friday. The Peach Bowl. It's going to be held at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Can't see it here, but it's just beyond.
It's around the corner.
This Midtown, right around the corner. I can tell you the Midtown's going to be rocking next week as folks are tailgating, getting ready for the big Peach Bowl. That game going to be between Oregon and Indiana. And then the winners of those two bowl games will go on to face each other in the national championship set for Monday, January 20th. That game will be played in Miami. But first, they got to get through Atlanta. Hey, great to be with you today on 11Alive Plus, coming to you from our brand new streaming center. We're with you for another 40 minutes, and we're back with more news right after this short break. All right, holidays are over. It's January 2nd as we're taking a live look here on 11Alive Plus. Returning to that breaking news we told you about at the top of the show, this overturned truck has a big impact on southbound traffic on I-75 in Ackworth. Backed up for miles. According to our photojournalist on the scene, it appears as if the medical examiner took away a body from this crash. It's been going on for 4+ hours. Happened just after 6 o'clock this morning. Now they got to get that overturned truck uprighted and towed out of there. But once the police investigation commences, hopefully they'll be able to get that truck out of there. In fact, it looks like we're seeing some action on the camera right now with one of those large wreckers that you usually see towing away these big rigs, perhaps getting into place to get this thing done. So we're going to keep an eye on this shot and let you know once this crash finally clears. All right, as I was saying, the holiday's over on this January 2nd, but it is flu season, and we are in the thick of it. It's a nasty season out there. I hope all of you stayed healthy over Christmas, over Hanukkah, over the New Year's. But a lot of people getting this sickness. I know my kids got it already. My wife has gotten the flu, and it is going through people who have even already received the vaccine. Georgia experiencing one of its most severe flu seasons in years. Let's get more from our Molly Oak.
New year.
This is one of the most severe years we have seen in a little bit.
More flu.
The amount of flu cases that we're noticing and the increase in positive numbers of testing for flu is something that we haven't seen probably in almost a decade, honestly.
Doctors telling us this flu season is predicted to get even worse than it is right now.
We are anticipating, unfortunately, that these next few months could be pretty rough.
That's one of the reasons Emory Healthcare is now offering a 24/7 flu hotline, staffed by nurses to figure out if a virtual visit is needed.
If there's a way to preserve the healthcare capabilities and capacities, it's really to rapidly triage, rapidly get people connected with care and with treatment. And if we can do that safely in an outpatient setting, we can really preserve the capacity of our emergency rooms and also our clinics.
Dr. Gavin Harris says flu cases are rampant right now.
I would say specifically in the outpatient setting, a lot of cases, but we're also seeing an increase in number of cases in visits to the emergency rooms.
In Georgia's Department of Public Health's latest report, there were more than 300 hospitalizations in the metro Atlanta area. That accounts for more than a third of the hospitalizations the metro's had total for the last 3 months. In DeKalb County, told 11Alive, flu-related 911 calls have increased by around 60% over the past several weeks.
We're seeing a massive uptick, so to speak, in flu cases.
Dr. Sujatha Reddy says even though it's January, it's not too late to get vaccinated.
No, it is never too late to get your flu vaccine.
Dr. Harris agrees.
There's been a lot of discussion of how perhaps the seasonal flu vaccine has not been matched that well with the current genetic branches that we're seeing. But the vaccine is still incredibly effective at preventing those severe cases and preventing those acute hospitalizations.
Molly Oak, 11Alive News.
As I mentioned, not too late to get that vaccine to kind of try to keep some of those symptoms tempered. Let's talk about what things look like in Georgia right now. You can see on this map, this is from the CDC, it shows where things started off at the start of flu season. Things were minimal. And then just a few weeks ago, it started to get moderate, and then it really escalated within the last week here in Georgia. You see now it's that dark reddish color. That is very high, indicating here in Georgia. Let's see. Yeah, very high. Our neighboring states, Alabama, it's a little better, high. And just to the west, Mississippi, it's moderate. But check out South Carolina, just to the east of us. They are looking at very high flu activity levels. That is the worst category for the CDC, that very high. We're going to keep an eye on that all year long. And again, the doctor's saying not too late to get your vaccine. We got more news, weather, and traffic coming up right after this. New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, one of the largest churches in Metro Atlanta. The man who heads it, Dr. Jamal Bryant, sat down with our Danielle Nottingham to talk about 2025 and what he believes 2026 will have in store. Remember, this is the man who kind of led that Target boycott last year, made national headlines. So what does he have planned for this upcoming year? Let's listen.
Let's reflect on 2025.
Yes.
There was a lot that happened. There's a lot
Yes.
that you were doing
Yes.
in the community. How was 2025?
Busy.
Yeah.
It was a whirlwind. It's hard to believe that this administration has only not even been in power for a year, and the strides that have taken us backwards in the civil rights community, the erasure of our history, the diminishing of DEI, the deporting of the undocumented, the empowering of ICE. It has been a lot that has taken place. It's taken a toll on the emotional and mental strain of millions of people.
And you took the reins on a lot of these issues, especially
Target.
Target. I mean,
Yes.
you're
Yes.
the person.
Yeah.
But you were saying before, it's not just Target that you're
Yeah.
holding responsible. How do you feel that movement did this year?
Yeah.
And how are you pushing forward in 2026?
The Target boycott was a defining moment, the most significant boycott for black people since the Montgomery bus boycott 70 years ago. Target has lost $12 billion. They're changing CEOs. Their foot traffic is down. They have had 3 consecutive souring quarters, and black people have stepped away from it. So I'm grateful for that, but also sorrowful that over 1 million people, because of the exclusion of DEI, have lost their jobs. The largest demographic being black women. And so entrepreneurial enterprise is going to have to really muster up its strength. 2026 is going to be a turning point for so many Americans who can't afford health care. That's going to be outside of their bandwidth to be able to take care of themselves and their loved ones.
So what can we do? What can we do, or how can we help? How can anyone help out here if they want to join your cause?
Yeah, I think that this is the time where we really embrace the sense of what Dr. King called the beloved community, that we are stronger together. And so we've got to find what is our common ground and not what our differences. The African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, take somebody with you. And so I think that Georgia is going to have to come together so that we can look after each other and make sure that we have a sense of community and a sense of belonging.
And for a second, can you talk about entrepreneurship? Because I actually spoke to a business owner here who was in Target, is not in Target anymore because of all that happening. And I heard a spot that you did on the radio about especially black people. Don't just think of, I need this job. Yeah. How can you plant the seeds to own something and grow something, generational wealth? Yeah. What's coming up in 2026 that people can look out for?
Yeah. A mentor of me said one of the problems minorities make is we look for entrepreneurship in areas of our interest. That's our hobby. It's not an entrepreneurial enterprise. You have to see where can you meet a need. Where can you answer a question? Where can you be a place of support? And that's where you'll find your profit, where it is that you're really making an impact and making a difference. If you're just trying to make a dollar, you'll always lose. But if you're trying to strengthen other people, you'll always win.
By the way, Bryant's main resolution for 2026 is for people to return to church. So thank you to Danielle Nottingham for bringing us that interview with Dr. Jamal Bryant. Let's get back to that breaking news we've been following all morning long, a very serious tractor-trailer crash in Cobb County. This is a live look, I-75 southbound over at the Wade Green Road exit. That's in Ackworth, exit 273. You see off in the distance that traffic moving very slow, coming 75 southbound. And this is what it looked like just a few hours earlier. Off to the right of your screen, our photojournalist Stephen Boise grabbing drone video showing that overturned big rig. off to the left of your screen, they're still working to upright that and get it moved out of here so they can reopen this exit 273 in Cobb County. We'll let you know if that should happen within the next 30 minutes that we're with you here on 11Alive Plus. We thank you for joining us from our brand new streaming center. We are going to be with you here at 10 a.m. every day, bringing you breaking news of the day like we are there out of Cobb County with the help of producer Reams Landreth. We're also going to be bringing in guests, newsmakers of the day, speaking with them, and also bringing you some context and perspective on some of the day's biggest headlines. Also going to be bringing you weather because that's a big talker as we head into the weekend. First weekend of the new year, and it's off to a gloomy start. Will the sun come out and win? Here's meteorologist Nicole Hartford.
Cloud cover has moved in across North Georgia. Those clouds are pushing in ahead of an incoming cold front that will also bring rain back to our area by the end of the day today. Right now, most of that rain stretches through Arkansas and into Mississippi. It's just starting to enter into Alabama, so it's still got a little ways to go until it arrives here, but we'll bring those scattered showers back in by later this afternoon as that cold front pushes through. The actual cold front moves in North Georgia by early tomorrow morning, and as it does, it will bring in more widespread rainfall and then eventually lead to drier conditions. It will be a good area of rain. In fact, rain totals could get up to about a half inch to an inch across many locations in North Georgia. Looks like a pocket of the most widespread, heaviest rainfall will be kind of along the I-20 corridor where some of the stronger showers and storms will develop. This does not come with a risk for severe weather for us. There's a low-end threat down towards the south for tomorrow as this cold front swings through central and south Georgia with that level 1 threat. But we're not anticipating any severe weather here. In fact, while we could see a few isolated storms, I think the extent of it will be some heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty winds, as well as some rumbles of thunder. So don't be surprised if they wake you up late tonight. Most of the daytime today, dry. This is your forecast track. Shows cloud cover. That's going to be pretty hard to shake throughout the day. We will see a few breaks in the clouds, perhaps some sun peeking through here and there, but sunshine is going to be pretty hard to come by. Instead, we'll stay mostly cloudy with a couple spotty showers possible into the afternoon. By later today, especially as we get closer to the sunset, we'll watch as these showers and storms push in from the west. So activity will really start to increase post sunset through about midnight with not just widespread rain, but areas of heavier rain as well. Notice the oranges and reds showing up on our forecast track. Also notice that where some of these stronger showers, where the heaviest rain develops, it's where our higher rainfall totals are also anticipated. So right along that I-20 corridor, as I mentioned. This will continue just kind of on and off through the overnight tonight. So if you'll be out late this evening or anytime really between sunset tonight and sunrise tomorrow, it's probably a good idea to have an umbrella close by. Roads are also going to be slick, so just keep that in mind. Much of the rain will start to sink southward by about 7 a.m. We'll still have areas of rainfall as the cold front finally works its way through, but the main area of rain is out of here by about 9 or 10 o'clock. Behind it, a couple isolated showers could redevelop into the afternoon. That's when we'll open the door for those stronger storms down into central Georgia. But anything the second half of the day, Saturday for us, is going to be really hit and miss. We're talking areas of light rainfall up into far north Georgia, and most of us will stay dry for the second half of the day on Saturday as that drier air works in. As far as temperatures are concerned behind this front, not going to be a big impact. Highs today are still going to get up into the upper 50s and low 60s, even with the addition of the cloud cover. Although temperatures will be really similar to where we were yesterday with a high right around 62 in Atlanta, it's going to feel a little cooler just because of the cloud cover. Highs by tomorrow stay in the 50s. That'll be the case for Sunday as well. We bring back the sunshine to end out the weekend, and temperatures will gradually warm into next week. We're pushing 70 degrees by Tuesday and Wednesday.
Cole, thanks. Hey, have you heard about this? A potential new federal ICE detention facility coming to Social Circle, Georgia. Well, apparently city leaders there didn't even know about it until this Washington Post article that came out on Christmas Eve. So now these new developments out of Social Circle say that this facility could hold between 5,000 to 10,000 people by converting industrial warehouses. This is where Social Circle is located relative to Atlanta. Again, they say they found out through the media those city officials. They say that they lack the water and sewer infrastructure to support a facility of that size, saying it would nearly triple the population there in their town. And they say it also raises some serious safety concerns due to proximity to homes and schools. The mayor and city council say they strongly oppose this plan. That's been reported about here in the Washington Post. We're working to do our own reporting here, and this is a story we'll be following, no doubt. All right, hope you all had a nice, safe New Year's. Couple days now into the new year, we're starting to get some numbers from various cities and counties throughout Metro Atlanta talking about how New Year's Eve went. We usually learn about DUI patrols and how many arrests were made. Sadly, whether there are any fatalities to tell you about. Well, we just got Clayton County's report in. In fact, Reeves, they posted a Facebook video, right?
Hype video is probably the better way of calling it. There wasn't really any information. They posted some content on Facebook, but
we all love a good hype video. Should we check it out?
Let's play the hype video. Music off, because I don't want to get copyright striked while we talk about these stats.
Here it comes, Clayton County's hype video talking about New Year's Eve safety, and give you some stats here while we're at it. They say they had almost 1,500 citizens contacted, 629 traffic stops, 31 total arrests, only 10 DUI arrests they're touting, despite alcohol consumption across the county. Reems, I feel like we need some music for the full effect, but we can't do that, can we?
I'll get it going. Give me a
second. By the way, they say long-term crime reduction, their 2025 homicide total count of 30 represents some significant progress. So giving themselves a pat on the back, and homicides indeed down for 2025 in Clayton County. So not only are they proud of what they were able to do on New Year's Eve, they're also saying they're proud of what they were able to do throughout the year. Let's listen in. Sheriff LaVon Allen in Clayton County posting that video on Facebook, touting their New Year's Eve numbers. Perhaps we can get the sheriff on one day here on the program and talk about bigger picture things in Clayton County. And we're talking about some other news, weather, and traffic coming up right after this. And remember, we are still watching that big rig crash in Cobb County, an overturned tractor trailer that they are working to upright right now, get out of the way, and get traffic moving freely again on 75 southbound. More on that straight ahead. You know, homelessness is trending up nationwide, but one local organization here in Atlanta says they're actually making some good progress in getting the numbers down. Our Joe Ripley is here in our streaming center to tell us a little more about this story. Hey, Joe.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, Dan? I love the new digs here in
Thank
the streaming
you.
studio. It looks very nice. Looks good on you. So, homelessness, this is an issue that Atlanta, not the only city, of course, nationwide, but Atlanta's definitely struggled with homelessness. But actually, Partners for Home is an organization, and they've been touting some of their efforts to curb crime. In 2025, crime, they say, went down here in the A about 9%. So they're hoping to build on those efforts here in a new initiative called Atlanta Rising, pumping in about $212 million to curb homelessness here in Atlanta.
I have my bed right here.
George Willis showed us around his new home at Wynwood in Midtown. It wasn't long ago, but he didn't have a home.
I decided just to get my life together when I met my child. I have a daughter and a grandbaby. I met them about 5 years ago. I haven't seen them in about 30 years.
Living spur of the moment in the streets paled in comparison to spending time with his family and getting his life back on track.
I guarantee you, anybody that get a place and be able to sit down for a month, and get his thoughts back together, I don't believe too many people to go back to the street. They're just sincere about what they're doing.
Our job is to create and execute the strategy to reduce men homelessness in the city.
Catherine Vassell, CEO of Partners for Home, says the organization and Atlanta City Partners are spending $212 million to tackle homelessness through the Rapid Housing Initiative and permanent supportive housing like at the Wynwood Apartments.
At any given time, the city of Atlanta has about 3,000 people who are experiencing homelessness, either in shelter, transitional housing, or sleeping on our streets.
Vassell expects hundreds of new homes to come online over the next year as the city tries to build or redevelop affordable homes.
I feel good, sir.
For George Willis, even just a little time watching Westerns on TV helps him appreciate where he's been and where he's going.
The word really can't explain, especially when you have been lived out there for so long. Anytime somebody offers you some help like that, you get another chance in life.
Wow. Sometimes you just need an opportunity and a chance, and folks like George are getting that.
Yeah, this is a housing-first approach, Dan. Partners for Home says once people can find some stability there in a home, so much opportunity opens up around them. They feel secure enough to look for a job, secure enough to feed and provide for their families. But getting that house is a very important step.
Right. Good hygiene opportunities all day long there with that nice shower facility. Yeah. And are there strict guidelines for what folks have to do to stay inside these homes? Anything about employment?
Yeah, there are. You note that. And Partners for Home says there are about 400 people in downtown Atlanta specifically who are unsheltered, living on the streets. So to take part in this program, you need three things. You need to provide an ID, social security card, as well as a birth certificate. The people who do take part in this program, Dan, are paying 30% of their income. Okay. So if you have a job, it's 30% of that income.
Gotcha.
Although it's likely that some people do not have a job when they're taking part in this program. And so they get in contact with some caseworkers, help them find employment or seek government benefits, and they would pay 30% of those benefits. But for people like George there, who's been homeless for 20 years, he is right now not paying a dime until he gets that job and secure income.
And Joe, it seems like there's kind of some urgency with the World Cup coming up to really make a dent.
There is. You notice that this effort is being concentrated right now in downtown Atlanta, not only because of the hundreds that remain unsheltered, but because the World Cup is coming up in June. And in 5 short months, Dan, you talk about a major event coming to Atlanta, thousands of tourists coming here, and people from every nook and cranny of Metro Atlanta piling into downtown. Obviously, there's a safety hazard potentially that could crop up, but you also want to clean up your streets, quite literally. And I'm glad that this is the way that they're doing it. Over the last year or two, Atlanta has been facing a lot of criticism over the way they've handled homelessness. When you talk about encampment clearings, we had the unfortunate incident about a year ago this time with the man who was killed. So for the city, this is kind of a way to not only kind of change their image, but give people realistic opportunities to ensure permanence when it comes to that stability and getting a home.
Very good, Joe. Important story. Appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Come back like every day. We'd love to have you
we'll
here.
See what we can do.
Man, Joe's telling some great community stories. So looking forward to more of that. Joe, thanks. And we've got more coming up right after this short break. Stick around. President Trump is opening up about his health and acknowledging now that he takes more aspirin than his doctors recommend. Let's get more from NBC's White House correspondent, Gabe Gutierrez.
With images of his bruised hands covered in makeup going viral, President Trump is now defending his health in a new interview with the Wall Street Journal. The president says the bruising is due to him taking 325 milligrams of aspirin a day, while ignoring doctors' recommendations to lower that dosage because he's superstitious. They say aspirin is good for thinning out the blood, and I don't want thick blood pouring through my heart, he says. I want nice, thin blood pouring through my heart. Experts warn that aspirin can increase a person's risk of bleeding because it prevents blood clots from forming. The president also now says the MRI he got in October as part of a routine physical,
I got an MRI, it was perfect,
was actually a CT scan, and that he regrets getting it because it's given his critics an opening. In retrospect, it's too bad I took it because it gave them a little ammunition, he tells the Journal. In a new written statement, Trump's physician says the CT scan was perfectly normal and revealed absolutely no abnormalities, adding the president's cardiovascular health puts him 14 years younger than his age. Trump has frequently attacked former President Joe Biden's health.
we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape.
While brushing off concerns about his own.
You people are crazy. I'll let you know when there's something wrong. There will be someday. That's going to happen to all of us. But right now, I think I'm sharper than I was 25 years ago.
The president now says he briefly tried wearing compression socks to treat conspicuous ankle swelling caused by what's known as chronic venous insufficiency, a non-life-threatening condition he was diagnosed with in July, but says he didn't like them. He calls any exercise other than golf boring. And as for recent images of him appearing to doze at White House events, Trump denies falling asleep and instead suggests photographers catch him blinking.
Gabe Gutierrez reporting there. All right, back here in Metro Atlanta, we are keeping an eye on breaking news out of Cobb County all morning long. Our Doug Turnbull's been following this crash that has this exit in Ackworth shut off, and we're going to hear from Doug in just a moment, talking not just about this crash, but your car headlights. We're back in 2 minutes. Hey, thank you for watching 11Alive Plus this morning. We're going to be in our new streaming center every day at 10 a.m., bringing you breaking news like what we've been following out of Cobb County this morning with this overturned tractor trailer. Our Doug Turnbull's been following this. He joins us now in the studio with some more on what we know. You know, Doug, I mean, going on 5 hours of this. Usually when it takes this long, it's because of a fatality or just a really serious crash to clean up.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're seeing here, Dan, is a serious situation. We learned about 2 hours into this on 75 southbound here with the ramp to Wade Green shut down and the 2 right lanes of 75 South proper blocked. We've had our traffic impact tracker there all morning. But we learned that that there are serious injuries in this crash. Our photojournalist Stephen Boise even saw them remove the driver from that truck there. But we're working to learn from Cobb County exactly what the condition is. There's about a 4 or 5 mile backup too, which is kind of unexpected on our last real holiday weekday before things get into gear next week.
Okay, Doug, thanks. We're going to be keeping an eye on that again throughout the morning here on 11 Alive. Plus, that traffic being impacted there on I-75. But we also want to bring Doug in to talk about something that impacts all of us, and it's those bright car headlights coming at you in the middle of the night. Doug, what have you learned?
Yeah, for sure. So I've gotten complaints for years about this. I've written the Gridlock Guy column that's on 11alive.com and in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution a long time. And one of maybe the top 5 most common emails I've gotten is it's usually people that are of a certain age that are yelling about headlights and how bright they are. And frankly, as I brought this up to family, even people that are, I'm 40 years old, people younger than me in my family are like, yeah, seriously, that's not good. So what I want to do is just pose a question to a safety researcher from the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety, Matthew Brumbelow, of, hey, they're too bright, right? Aren't our regulations a little, not allowing for this? Should they tamp down on it? And he actually had something different to say about glare-related crashes. So here's Matthew Brumbelow.
Police reported crashes in a bunch of different states, got over 6 million nighttime crashes in states where specifically the officers can code whether glare from headlights was a factor. And so we found the rate was pretty low. It was 1 or 2 out of every 1,000 crashes at night. And also that it wasn't really increasing over the past 10 years or so. So we were trying to understand, that increase in LED headlights and also vehicles that do well in our headlight evaluation. Has that led to an increase in glare-related crashes? And we can't see that based on the data that we have.
Yeah, so look, basically glare-related crashes have always been low, and they have not risen, although headlights have gotten brighter since IIHS began doing this study, or began giving headlight ratings in 2016. When they began those studies, you're like this, Dan, 82% of cars had marginal or poor headlight brightness or effectiveness. And that number now is only, I believe, 16%.
Wow.
So lights have gotten brighter, but
at the detriment of your eyesight.
At the detriment of your eyesight. And also low visibility crashes have gone down according to their numbers, and the glare-related crashes have now gone up. But maybe it's just glare. People aren't crashing because of glare. They're just more annoyed by it, right?
So is there a perfect medium in there somewhere? We're just going to have to wait and see, huh?
They have adaptive driving beams that are apparently easier to implement in other countries, and federal regulations here have only had an update in the last 28 years or so in 2022 to allow them. But Brumbelow told me that only 1 or 2 automakers have actually implemented adaptive beams that actually dim in the direction of oncoming vehicles because the regulations are clunky. So something to think about there when you're shopping for a new car or driving at night.
How about that? Doug, I got to ask you while you're here. I haven't seen you since the new year. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
You ran a great story this week about the Atlanta Journal-Constitution having their final print piece on December 31st. And you write a column for them and have for years. Is that going to continue?
Yeah, for sure. The Gridlock Guy column will be both on AJC.com and 11alive.com on Sundays. And you could go to AJC.com or somewhere there and actually sign up. They're having a newsletter for them, too. But I was thankful that they allowed me to make the print and digital journey over as print has gone away.
Man, I'm going to miss a hard copy of the paper.
For sure. I see one on your desk every morning, so yeah.
I still read it. I love it. I mean, you thumb through it and you read articles you wouldn't normally click on.
Discovery is what Kelly Yamanucci, the reporter, told me that you'll miss from that. But they still have on the e-paper, they still have it formatted like print for now anyway. So you can still digitally thumb through the paper in addition to going to their app or website.
You know what? They're adapting to the times, as are we here at 11 Alive. And we have built this brand new streaming center for that very reason, to bring you the news in a different way with some added context and perspective, so with some more time to chit-chat with good folks like Doug Turnbull and to follow breaking news throughout the morning as it happens. We're going to be with you every morning here from the 11 Alive Streaming Center starting at 10 a.m. And we thank you for making us a part of your day. Go out there, make it a great Friday, everybody, and have a great weekend. I'm Dan Kennedy for Reams Landreth, Doug Turnbull. See you around.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. 11Alive Plus, complete coverage of your local news, weather, and more. When news breaks,